Good evening. Welcome to another live session at Speaker Circle. My name is Zena and I'm going to be the host for today. Every Thursday on this YouTube channel, we go live with several things that include movie reviews, book reviews, storytelling, knowledge sharing sessions, and much more. Today, we are going to have a knowledge sharing session. Through knowledge sharing sessions, we give our members a platform to conduct a session or a seminar about the things that they have a lot of knowledge about, the fields that they are expert in, and to share that knowledge with all of us and to even broadcast it further. So, today is going to be a really interesting session. If you are watching us, if you are there, go ahead in the live comment section, type your name down, and if there are any questions that you wish to ask the speaker, you can simply share it there and I'll display it on the screen for the speaker. So, what this live session is all about today? So, whenever we go to a restaurant to have some meal, whether we go for dinner or for lunch, if we go to a particular website, if we buy a product, or while even ordering a product on Amazon, there's something down there after we are done with the payment, after we are done with the procedure, or maybe after we have the product in our hand. There is always something that comes at last. Maybe they'll ask us to show, give us some certain stars, or leave some comments regarding what our experience was. Even if you're taking a ride for, let's say, Uber or Ola for going to a certain place, after you reach that place, after the payment is done, after the driver leaves you, you are supposed to give the driver a rating. What is all that? Why do we do that? Is it to find the faults in people? Is it to tell people that this thing is lacking in the work that you do? I believe it is for them, or for us to improve. Even in corporate offices, we have something that is called constructive criticism or constructive feedbacks, where employers are giving employees the feedback that they need to improve upon their skills and how they can change the game for themselves. So, feedback is really important. That's the most effective way you can learn. When we were in school, we used to write examinations, we used to write essays, and the teacher used to give us certain comments with a red pen that this is something that's missing, or this is a spelling mistake. That's the feedback that we all have received at a primary level. As we move forward, there are several other ways in which feedback comes to us. But why is feedback so important? How can we give feedback that can really help somebody improve? And if we are receiving feedback, how we should take it positively and what we should do after that is what today's live session is all about. Today, we have someone who is really, I would say, a mastermind of knowledge. He is a voracious reader. He is from Ahmedabad. He holds a bachelor's degree in engineering from NIT Durgapur. He currently works as a freelance consultant and has an experience of 15 years. And he has read almost, I don't know, an innumerable amount of books, and he has a knowledge regarding various subjects. So today he is going to talk a little about feedback. Let's invite Sunil Shanewar to the live session. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. Good evening, Zana. How are you? I'm good.
I'm fine as well. So, sir, first and foremost question. Feedback is something that people learn in either certain training programs, or if they have had like a brief interaction with someone, brief formal interaction with someone, right? That's where we give feedback. So, why do you think that feedback is an important subject to be talked upon, regardless of whoever is watching this live session? Why we need to talk more about it?
See, the basic thing is that our life is revolved around the feedbacks. Okay, now we have watched that movie called Welcome. If somebody could have given the right feedback to Majnu Bhai or Uday Shetty, imagine that movie could not have been made.
Very true.
Similarly, Similarly, when we were children, and there used to be certain incidences that happens with everybody. Your neighbor comes and complains against you. You come up with your mark sheets and the kind of flying chappals and all other things in the house. Those were the feedback giving mechanism of our parents when we were child. So there are certain things uh, which are really funny, but if you look at them in a different view, those were the feedbacks when we were children. Not every parent wants their children to feel overwhelmed with just talking about the appreciations or achievements they have done. So there are unique ways, especially in India and especially in middle class families, to give feedbacks. So we are raised with feedbacks and we are going to die with feedbacks.
Very true,
See
sir.
you
Couldn't agree more.
and we as a human have a tendency to learn new things. Now if you are doing something and you are not sure whether you are going to get the certain results, and that all progress depends upon the feedback that you get from yourself, you get from the people, and uh, the event itself. So this is the reason the feedback is very important. Just imagine a situation: you are uh, going to Mumbai from Delhi. You have taken a flight ticket and there is nobody at the airport. You just get your security check and all those things done. Now imagine the airport like T3 or Mumbai airport where there are more than 100 gates. Your ticket doesn't tell you anything. There is nobody to help you, and they just leave you in the airport, and you just have to go and catch the flight. And without that feedback mechanism, what kind of chaos everybody will create, because there will be hundreds of thousand people flying in a day and there is no feedback. If you are driving, even if you are driving your scooter or your car, and your brake doesn't give you the correct feedback, what will happen to the traffic? Just imagine those things. So our life is involved and or revolved around the feedbacks. The only thing is that this is one of the most neglected aspects. We never think about this because this has become so common that we don't even bother to think about it, that this also can help us become a better person.
Person, right? And most of the time we also take feedback in the most negative sense possible, that we don't, although it's like a very sometimes people are really brutally honest when it comes to giving feedback. They don't know how to present it to the other person, and so they just throw reality at them, and the other person is not able to grasp the essence behind it, and then everything goes down the drain. So the manner in which we give and receive feedback, that is giving and receiving feedback, the precise topic for today's session, is really important. And I agree with whatever you said before. So good luck to you for the live session, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Zana. Thank you so much. Another screen is visible. Hello.
Yes, sir, the screen is pretty much visible.
Both the this presentation is visible, right? Zana, present is can you see the presentation?
Yes, sir, I can see you and the presentation very clearly, so you can just continue.
All right. Thank you so much. So why feedback matters? As we discussed, me and Zaina, in every aspect of our life, there is something that keeps us help in a moving in a positive direction or a forward direction. Now imagine a world without the feedback. As we said, if you don't give feedback or if you don't receive feedback, could you imagine? what kind of person you are and what kind of person you will be without those feedbacks. Let me tell you one good example that happened with me itself last week only. So I was in Delhi visiting a few of my friends, and that friend is a very good in making all the project reports and all those things. So he made a project report regarding certain project, and he had something in his mind. So he showed that report to three different people just to seek their feedback. And what he received was something he never expected that to happen. That shattered him inside out, that made him question his own abilities, and that made him think twice about submitting these kind of papers to the people who have got limited knowledge. So this generally happens with the feedback. Most of the times we are afraid of receiving or giving feedbacks because we don't know how to construct a feedback in a perfect way. So this is what feedback is all about, and this is the reason I personally feel that feedback definitely matters and matters to all of us. What next? Are we really prepared well to listen, or we are just walls on the brick that doesn't care? Imagine a situation: you just come from office or your school, and your parents are eagerly waiting to share some good news with you. What is our first reaction when we come back home? We hardly care if they're sitting or there or not. That doesn't make any difference to us. They also wait. They also wait for us to freshen up, and they want to share something. They want to tell us few things that has been happening in the house, particularly with you. But you are busy with your cell phones. So are we really prepared to listen to what others has to say about us? It is not necessarily that they are going to complain to us. It is not necessary that they are going to appreciate us, or it is definitely not necessary that they are going to teach us something. But are we well prepared to listen to what they has to offer to us? Now, as much as the feedback is important to the giver, it is equally important to the person who is receiving that. And if the person is not equipped well with his listening skills or with her listening skills, it becomes extremely difficult for everybody to give a feedback. So, what is feedback? The basic question: what is feedback? Can anybody tell me what is the feedback? You can write your answers in the chat box. Come on, come on, come on. Few answers at least. At least one. Powerful variable content. Thank you so much. Well, let me tell you. Feedback is a mechanism by which you give back your feed to the origin. So giving back the feed to the origin is called as feedback. So what is feedback and how it matters? Benefits of receiving feedback in a better manner. So what happens is that if somebody is coming to me and trying to explain something that has happened with both of us, because two parties are always involved whenever it comes to feedback. That person is not going to give you the sweet words. That person is going to be little harsh. That person is going to make sure that you suffer for rest of your day. And imagine the situation. What will happen? We'll have butterflies in stomach. We'll start getting the headache. We'll start running for space. We'll drink lot of water, tea, coffee. We eat much more. We go to bathroom, and those things happen when somebody says, "Come to my office," or when your wife or girlfriend says, "Need to talk to you for 5 minutes." You know, just imagine that situation. Need to talk to you for 5 minutes. You know that some harsh feedback is on your way, but if you are ready to listen or take that feedback well, then things might change for your good only. Now, what happens when you're ready to receive? Receive in a positive way, that you allow that other person to deliver his or her message in whatever way they want. Once they are done with that, you can just nudge your head, say thank you so much for your feedback, and you can go on with few other questions which we are going to cover up in next few minutes. So what are the triggers for any kind of feedback? There are three triggers for every feedback. Number one is truth. Now, what is truth feedback? Truth is, if something has happened, some situation has occurred, the other person has noticed that. For example, if I say me and Zaina are talking, and I observe that Zaina uses particular examples, or she has particular traits whenever she speak to people, whenever she tries to explain her points. I sometimes feel she's too much of feminism. I sometimes feel she's biased towards few things. And if I go and tell Zana, this is not right, you're not doing good things to the people, we males are not just poor animals and all those things, I just go and blast Zana. That is the truth trigger. Second thing, what trigger is the relationships. Now imagine a situation, you want to go out in a party. You and your entire family is invited at 7 p.m. at some particular place, and as usual, your mom or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your spouse is getting late, and that person gets late. That is known to everybody. What we can do is to tell that person that this event is going to start at 6 p.m., rather than telling that that event is going to start at 7 p.m. But we don't do that. What we do is we bring all the things from the past, make that as an excuse, and make sure that person gets hurt. That is the relationship trigger. And third and most important, which happens with each of us. Now imagine we are discussing few certain things, and we know each other for maybe long period of time, 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years, or more, maybe more than that. And when we discuss those things, one of your friends stands up and says, "You are always like this. Why don't you change yourself?" And he goes on and on and on and on, and you just fed up and you start paying him back in your words. Now, what will happen to that relationship when your identity is at risk, when your identity is definitely going to hamper? So these are the triggers that invites a feedback, and how to overcome that is what we are going to discuss again. So let us understand what triggers the feedback. What kind of feedbacks? Now there are certain kind of feedbacks. The number one is appreciation. Number two is coaching, and number three is evaluation. Now what happens in case of appreciation is that most of us doesn't know how to appreciate things or people. It looks lame, it looks fake, and that appreciation most of the times goes at a wrong time, or at a wrong place, or to the wrong person. The same thing happens with the coaching, and same thing happens with the evaluation. Now for example, just imagine one person who comes to you with, whatever the kind of work he or she is doing, and they want your honest feedback about whether you liked that work. Maybe it's some kind of dance video, maybe some kind of art, some kind of painting, or some article written, or somebody comes with some project report that is going to help your organization to move in a better direction or get a lot of profit. And that person comes to you, you just look at that particular thing, and you just tell them, these are the things that you are done well, these are the things that you are not doing well, and all those things, and you give 10 minutes of lecture, and that person just goes back thinking, what have I done with this person, or what have I done with this project, that I had to listen to this person for last 10 minutes. Similarly, that person comes to you in search of evaluation, and you appreciate that person. If I know I have few qualities which are not going to help me to become a better person in the group, or become a better team member, or become a better learner, and if you just appreciate my work, wow, you have done this such a wonderful job. You should have been here 10 years back, but I am sorry, I never told you that you are good with these things, and all those things. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with this person? Why he is not telling me what I want to hear? And same thing happens with coaching. If I'm stuck with something, I go to one of my friend, because I know that friend is master in that particular subject. He looks at the things, he just evaluates everything and gives me the evaluation. Okay, Sunil, this part is better. Here you could have done this, and these are the things which are really appreciable. And I wanted some particular answer that I'm not getting. Now mix up everything, and that feedback becomes something which you don't want to hear or listen or look at. So that is the beauty of feedback. When we want to listen or get the feedback, what we intend, that we never get. So what are the ways to give or receive a feedback? Suppose me and Zaina are working on a project, and Zaina comes up with a thought that Sunil sir has been working on this project for last 1 month, 2 month, or whatever time we are working together. She comes to me with some paper, and she present that paper to me, and before presenting that paper, she clearly mentions what exactly she's expecting out of this typical discussion that we are going to have in next 5 or 10 minutes. So she comes to me and tells me that, sir, this is the thing I'm struggling with, and I need your help to make it better. So, as a feedback giver, I have my clear direction and indication to what I need to do to help Zana out with this particular issue that she's facing right now. I can divert my thoughts. I can just recalculate, rethink, and give her the perfect, maybe the perfect or near perfect feedback that she wants. So I know that Zaina has come for coaching. At the same time, there is one more team member who is too much excited about the kind of work she or he has done. Maybe it's a very little work, but they know that they have cracked that. They know that they were not from the same background from which the experts were, but they made sure that they put their 100%, and they are expecting a little appreciation from me. I cannot go and tell them, "Wow, this is wonderful. Now you can go home and enjoy and you know uh, go for a party, have a drink, and all those things." I just cannot tell them. They need us, softer kind of appreciation. Okay, keep going. You're doing great job. This is going to take you forward, and this is going to help everybody to complete this particular project in the time frame that we are looking at. Similarly, somebody comes with the report is maybe for human rights or the kind of climate change. That person does a thorough survey, takes feedback, and talks to hundreds of people, and comes to you saying that, "Sir, this is something I have done. Now I need your evaluation on making it better before I present it to the jury or the top management." If I don't give what exactly is required, then that feedback or that evaluation is not going to help. Now, where we mess up, while appreciating somebody, we are not genuine most of the times. Everybody wants appreciation, but everybody knows that what kind of appreciation they're getting. Is it a genuinely true appreciation, or it is just appreciation for the sake of appreciating somebody? Same thing happens with coaching. Now, coaching and evaluation are similar to each other. You are working extremely hard with one of your students, but he or she is not able to grab the essence of what you want to tell them. You change your ways, you change your methods, or you just tell that person you are worthless, you don't have any grasping power. I have been telling the same thing for 100 times, and you're not able to understand this. Now go and find some other coach. Is it going to help both of us? The person who is, seeking that coaching from you, or you yourself, because you don't want to change your ways and want that other person to change for you. This is definitely not going to help. Now, evaluation is something which is really critical. We at Speaker Circle have this evaluation, which is a beautiful way that we call as a sandwich method. So first, you take out all the good things from that particular project or that speech or whatever. Explain that these are the things. Point out particular things, that these were the things which were really good. These were the things which you need to work upon, or you can add your personal experience, or you can add one of the examples that somebody else has done re- regarding the same project or same uh, kind of paper or something like that. And at the end, you again appreciate that person and wish him or her good luck. So that is the way to give a perfect evaluation. At the same time, when you are giving it, you must be ready to take all the feedbacks in a neutral way. So no feedback should be directed to any person. Just try those words. You have done that, you have done this, you stop using that particular word, because whenever it comes to feedback, we use you, we, your organization, my organization, on all those things. It looks more like a blame than a feedback. So stop using that. Let the incident be incident. Separate that incident from person, or separate that particular event from that person, and try to give feedback. When you receive the feedback, do the same thing. The feedback always should be received on your qualities and your traits, not on your personality. So if somebody is trying to target you for who you are, you must need to ignore that particular thing. Ignore the words, take the essence, because every feedback has got something which is going to help you only doing the same thing better next time. So just hear those words, filter out what is important to you, learn to say no. When you think that other person is crossing limits or boundaries, you should be prepared, or you must be prepared to stop that person. Again, explain that person, this was not the reason I came here, this is the reason I came here, and I want your views on this, because I feel you are the expert on this particular thing or topic. If we change the direction of the course, because feedback most of the times goes wrong, you start with something and you end up where you never want to be. So this is the beauty of the feedback. So be clear about what your intentions are, whether you are giving it to somebody or receiving it. And when you receive that feedback, show the gratefulness to that person. Thank them for sparing time for you. Thank them for teaching you, or appreciating you, or giving you the correct evaluation that this is going to help you in the future. So that's all for the day. Thank you so much, and thank you for your feedback.
Thank you so much, sir. Does anybody have any questions for Sunil, sir? Anybody wants to give him feedback? That's what today's session was all about. And I believe it was quite a precise, quite a helpful session. And thank you so much for covering points which were very practically relevant. So most of the time, I have seen sessions that are way beyond being relevant. They are anything but relevant. So thank you for sticking to the real perspective and what people should actually do, like taking baby steps towards receiving and giving feedback. With this, I think we are done. Do you wish to add something more, something that you want people to really do right now, starting from right now, and continue that forever when it comes to feedback?
The only thing I would suggest is that whenever you are trying to seek or give feedback, separate that person with your feedback. Just don't mix them
Correct.
together. If
Correct.
you mix them together, you will definitely bring the past or future somewhere. You'll start questioning their character, their abilities, or their own nature. So when it comes to feedback, these things should be separate. There should not be mixing of all these things,
Right.
especially when you are working in a professional atmosphere. At home with friends, these things are sometimes okay, because these people for a longer period of time. But when it comes to your work, you should never you know mix people with their projects or their work,
Correct. We should not
because
have that overall kind of judgment.
yeah,
That's very
because you
wrong.
don't know what kind of past, what kind of experiences that person is going through right now at that moment.
Correct. Correct.
Most of the times we are not mentally or physically prepared to receive feedbacks. or to give feedbacks. Whenever we hear that word feedback, our just all the bulbs start uh, either blowing or going off.
Going off, mostly going off. That's
Okay,
true.
and your mind becomes certainly blank whenever somebody says, "Let us talk for 5 minutes," and that's one of the most dangerous sentences I have ever heard. Let's talk for 5 minutes.
Correct. That person is viewed as evil. That's what, like, especially people my age, whenever they receive some kind of critical feedback, that asks for like a scope of improvement, that person has received or built an extremely evil image of himself or herself in the other person's mind, that this person is always going to pinpoint you, whereas that could be like, if you think practically, that could be really helpful for you in the
Yeah.
next step. That's
Yes.
what it is
So
all
that is
about.
the basic and first step. And if we start with that, we will definitely change the ways we receive or give feedback. Now, when we receive the feedback, the beauty of this again, you have a certain image about somebody who's going to give you
Right.
the feedback. Now,
Right.
if that person is really master about something, we don't look at that particular thing. We are just trying to catch those trigger points which are going to harm us in next 1 hour, 2 hours, or maybe few days, or for somebody a few months.
Right.
Because we are
Happens.
looking at that person, not about we are not going to listen to that whatever he or she is going to tell us to
Yeah, to
make us a better
justify
person.
that claim. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. But we just once we hear that name, we just put ourselves off.
True.
So it has to be open, it has to be clear, and you must be prepared. you know 80% of the times feedbacks are not good,
Right.
and
That's
that
that's
is
the
the
nature
way
of
that
feedback. Yeah.
yeah, and that is where we are going to learn, we are going to progress. Because if everybody is just keep you appreciating, you are not going to progress.
True.
So it's a different way. And as I said, if you want appreciation kind of feedback, tell them, tell the history, the background, that this is what I have done. I have done 100 hours of research just to reach to this information. Was I wrong or was I right? Or there could have been some different ways where I could have approached this challenge. They will definitely appreciate your 100 hours of work, because they know this 100 hours, whatever you have done, this is going to help you only with that particular thing. And in those 100 hours, you have achieved or gained much knowledge, much more knowledge than your peers.
True.
So you should be clear about, before you go to seek feedback, you also should need to be clear that why we are going to this person, because this person is going to blast you after 10 minutes.
True. That's very true. And sometimes it also happens that some incorrect form of feedback is given to us, and we take it too seriously and stick to that one notion of ourselves, rather than seeking some kind of quality feedback, or rather filtering it out, simplifying it, and understanding that what is exactly that we need to improve, rather than sticking to just the notion of us being imperfect or lacking in certain ways. But I really appreciate your ideas and perspectives that you've shared. And I'll agree with the viewers that it was a really unique topic that we talked about today, and how we can improve. And it's everywhere. It's in at a scholarly level, in terms of work, in terms of if you are having some people work below you, or if you are having if you're running an organization with a lot of people, then it is going to be some way or the other you are going to be involved in feedback. So that's very helpful. And thank you so much for the session today. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Zen.
So that was Sunil Shanewar, everyone, and he has as I said, he has a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. He has done many live sessions. You can check it out on this YouTube channel, and you can also subscribe to it because we share a public speaking tip video or something related to public speaking that will help you every Tuesday. And every Thursday, we go on this live. We go live on this channel with some other kind of activity where our members come here and talk about the things that they have certain knowledge about. Apart from that, there are various speeches that the members have given, and we have released them on YouTube. You can find a Google form link in this live session's description. Simply go there, fill up the Google form. We'll add you to our WhatsApp group where you will get updates regarding our meetings as well. So join our meetings. We are going to have a meeting on 29th. It's online, so you can attend it from any corner of the world. There are various activities which you can participate into, and you'll also get an idea what this organization is all about and how you can be a part of it. We are all about expressing ourselves, engaging with like-minded people, and evolving as a better speaker or as a better person. This is Zaina Rafiq signing off. Have a nice evening and good luck for all the future endeavors, especially when it comes to giving and receiving feedback.